What's up, YouTube? This is Soul from Intuitive Tarot here to just take a look at the fate of Sean Diddy Combs, P. Diddy. I had a request that came in, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do it. I haven't been following the trial. I know that they came to closing arguments a couple of days ago. The jury is in now deliberations. So I just want to see, throwing some cards here for my favorite go-to deck, the Magi method. These cards are pretty accurate. Now, if you followed me and I did use these cards during the presidential election, you would have to look at that video again. I still feel that the after looking how the events are turned around, that election, because I can't recall, but I felt that though the election was stolen, if we look again, I may take another look at that because I feel that he had help to steal the election. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We're here to discuss what's the fate of Sean Diddy Combs, P. Diddy. And you don't read these cards in reverse. And I haven't really decided. I think I'll do a line of five. Line of five or a line of seven. That should give me some information. Okay, so what my question to the cards is, what is the fate? What is the outcome of this trial for Sean Combs, P. Diddy? Now, I'm old enough to remember, but I never idolized him. He's not one of my favorites. But years ago, we're talking about the early 90s. I said, there's something wrong with this guy. I said, but I can't put my finger on it. And this is why I always emphasize, trust your gut, okay? Your gut never tells you or leads you astray, all right? And so since I felt that way years ago about him, look at what all has transpired throughout his life. I feel that even if he um, is found now guilty, he will. There will, for him, there won't be a comeback. There will not be a comeback. He will live his life, the rest of his life, in regret, remorse, shame, guilt. All of that will be eating him alive. So whether or not he spent his remaining time in jail, or if it's outside of jail, he will never do a comeback. There will never be no resurgence of Sean P. Diddy Combs, guaranteed. Okay. All right. So anyway, what's going on? What is the fate of Sean Pity? Yeah, Pity. Sean Diddy Combs. Changed his name so many damn times. Hell, I can't keep up with him. But anyway, what is the outcome? What is the fate of this trial for him? What is to come? Okay. Please, Magi, if you will. All right. So I'm gonna cut the deck, and I feel I'm gonna do seven. Okay. All right. So we're gonna do it one by one. And I really should have grabbed my hold on for a second. So I'm back. So I went to go grab my book because whatever cards show up here, I want to read directly from the book in terms of what they mean so that you guys can understand it. And since I did take that little break, I'm going to reshuffle these cards right here, quick here, because I don't want nobody coming in here saying, oh, he lined the cards up and stacked them the way he wanted to. No, this is an unbiased reading. I will never do that anyway, but just in case someone does come along and say some dumb shit like that, then, I'm covering my bases. All right, so again, the question was, what is the fate or the outcome for P. Diddy as far as this trial is concerned? Don't read these cards in reverse, okay? So yeah, and I did say that I was going to do a line of seven. That should give us a lot of information to what could be going on, or what could be going on. Yeah. All right, let's cut this deck here. And like I said, he may get off because of the simple fact that, money, he has, lawyers that are, he paid a lot of money for those lawyers and they're, good at what they do. So they might, um, set them free, but we'll see. All right. So here's the first card here for Sean Pity. Why I keep saying pity? Pity, pity, pity. Sean Diddy Combs. Coffin. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the coffin. Already. And this deck here literally means death. Okay. So I don't want to put a scare to nobody. That's why I don't use this card for my regular readings because it would scare people. That coffin in this deck means physical death. All right. The other meanings of this coffin. Let me just go ahead and throw the cards out. So we started off with the coffin. So that usually represents endings, right? Death, and real life in a perspective. It could also be, showing up because of the trial coming to an end. Okay, just note that the coffin ends things. Next card up after that coffin is earth. Oh my God, the earthquake. Earthquake is like the tower and tarot. Earthquake, ten of spades. So far, we got the four of spade, ten of spade. And I have to go and say this. In this particular deck, in the book, if you purchase this deck or if you've ever used these cards here, they say the more black cards that you receive in a spread really turns out to be a negative outcome. So we're not finished yet. And I said that I was going to throw 7 cards, but look at the 2 cards. These are more or less like the worst 2 cards in the damn deck as we speak, starting off already. All right, so coming after that earthquake, we have Crossroads, 5 of clubs, another black card. Crossroads, almost like the 2 of swords, feeling like you're at a crossroad. Okay, having to make a choice or a decision. Following the crossroad here, we have, look at that, broken chalice, the 2 of spade. Oh my gosh. 2 of spade is about breakups, separation, well, it's like the tower. It mirrors over here to the earthquake, devastation, a split. You can see the split in the earth there, right? This would literally indicate someone, if I was doing a reading for someone and they were asking about their partnership or their marriage, this card would indicate that they're about to split or about to go to a divorce. Next card after the broken chalice is, look at that, the 4 of hearts. This is home, so that's favorable. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We said we're going to do 7. 5 would have been sufficient because this home still would represent a prison. Okay. In his case, it would represent a prison that he would serve some time in a building. Okay. Not necessarily surrounded by love because that 4 of hearts does represent love, relationships. But let's see what else we get. Let's throw the last 2 cards here, and then I'm going to individually read these cards through the book in terms of their meanings. All right. Then we have, karmic relationship. All right. Karmic relationship is all those people involved in your life. And then think in terms of, even though it's a 6, 6 of hearts and it represents love and relationship, karma. Remember, karma comes back to pay you no matter what deeds that you have done, whether they're bad deeds or good deeds. Okay. And the very last card for this spread for Sean Diddy Combs, not Pity, but Diddy Combs, woman. Okay, so the woman, the woman could be, the woman could be almost anyone in this case. This could be his mother. This could be his, what's the girl's name that he abused? I see. That's why I said I don't follow it. I can't even remember the girl's name. This could be her. This could be the one that he was married to that's crossed over. Karmic relationship. Things come back to, pay their debts. All right. So this is what we have here in terms of the 7-card lineup spread for Sean Diddy Combs. And even though his last 3 cards are very favorable, okay, because they're red cards, but his 4 cards that started the whole session are black. All right. So, well, let's tie this all in here and let's see if we can come up with some sort of determination here. So we're going to start with the Four of Cups. And I can take my time with this because this is just something that I decided to do out of the blue just to see what the cards would say and see how it would align to his outcome in terms of the jury decisions or the verdict. All right, so the Four of Spades. Very first card here, Four of Spades here. I got the book here so that you guys can see what I'm reading. All right, so the symbol of the Four of Spades is the coffin. The coffin in readings represents a major ending. This ending could be the literal death of a person close to you or the ending of a job, a career, relationship, or phase of your life. All endings lead after a time of grief and loss to a new beginning. Coffin is the ending. All right, so instead of reading the gut of this, I'm going to just go right down here to the bottom. The coffin in readings usually represents a major ending, taking a time out, illness, recuperating from an illness, exhaustion, breakdown, or even death. The coffin also represents all who have passed over or the dead. Remember I said this woman here, the Queen of Hearts, could represent Cassie. This could represent Cassie, and this would also represent the woman that he was married to, the mother of his children. I can't think of her name. She mirrors over here to the coffin. And the coffin is saying the coffin in readings usually represents a major ending, taking a time out, illness, recuperating from an illness, exhaustion, breakdown, or even death. The coffin also represents all who have passed over or the dead. Mediumship, the dark side of the spiritual realm, or demons. A grave, graveyard, a funeral, stagnation, and the color black. Okay, so you guys got that? Wow, that coffin started this whole entire reading off. So let me just finish here. So we're going to go to the Ten of Spades now. Ten of Spades. What's it say for the Ten of Spades? Here's the Ten of Diamonds. No, I wouldn't. Okay, Ten of Spades here. Earthquake. All right, so the symbol of the Ten of Spades is earthquake. When the earthquake card appears, a violent shakeup will ensue, and something will come to a sudden and violent end. The seeker's world is rocked to its very foundations. The seeker may have invested weeks, months, years, or even a lifetime building upon this financial, relational, or material foundation only to see it come crashing down very suddenly. Yo, he's a mogul. He is a quote unquote, I guess he was a billionaire, but he was a mogul. He's a mogul, right? So let me just read that again. When the earthquake card appears, a violent shakeup will ensue, and something will come to a sudden and violent end. The seeker's world is rocked to its very foundations. Now, keep in mind, this reading is for Sean Diddy Combs, right? So the seeker, he would be the seeker. The seeker's world is rocked to its very foundation. The seeker may have invested weeks, months, years, or even a lifetime building up this financial, relational, or material foundation only to see it come crashing down very suddenly. His empire. 10 represents completion, and spades represents conflict and energy that reverses upon itself and becomes destructive. Earthquake in the reading represents the ending of a way of life. Yup, there you go. Financial ruin, the end of a long-term relationship, a violent or disastrous ending, sudden downfall, defeat, misfortune, betrayal, crash, or a serious accident. The spade suit also indicates the mind, and in a reading may also represent a nightmare, insanity, rock bottom, or the seeker's darkest hour. Wow. All right, so that is those two cards right there. Let's move on to the Five of Clubs, which is another black card. And it says Crossroads. So let's see what the Five of Clubs wants to say. All right, here we go. Five of Clubs, Crossroad. The symbol of the Five of Clubs is the crossroads. The seeker is faced with a decision. Clubs represent the earth elements and foundations of our lives. This decision can relate to work, home, money, childcare, or any aspect of seeker's life. We make thousands of decisions each day, and the cumulative impact of these decisions determine our destiny. Crossroads may also represent a fork in the road, a new direction, options, alternatives, multiples, a decision, a choice, an actual road, or a street. Okay, so the crossroad here, feeling like you're at a crossroad. Um, so I feel that with this particular situation, with P. Diddy, he may be given a choice or a decision. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at that. He may be given a choice or a decision, and it may be, sort of like a deal that may be cut with his lawyers. I don't know if that could be a deal made at this particular point in time, since they already came to closing arguments and the jury's deliberating. So there couldn't be no deal with the jury. So let's just see. It could be a decision that's given to him, an option. All right, so the broken chalice is another nasty card here. Let's see what the broken chalice, turn right to it. Okay, so the symbol of the two of spades is the broken chalice, a golden cup now rendered completely useless due to a giant crack down one side. The chalice, once highly treasured, is now useless as a container. The broken chalice may appear in a reading when a married couple divorces, an unmarried couple breaks up and goes their separate ways, or a former friend becomes an enemy. The broken chalice in readings also represents a bad relationship, disharmony, discord, imbalance, a breakup, split, opposition, separation, fighting, an enemy, misunderstanding, and incompatibility. By the time the energy reaches the spade suit, the energy has stopped and reversed itself and now lies in direct opposition to the positive aspect of the card. Wow, that's deep. That is really, really deep. Okay, so let's move on to the home, four of hearts. And I feel that four of hearts could represent the jail, the prison, the home. Maybe when they make a decision. And of course, I'm going to give my opinion based on what I feel empathically about the situation. Like I said, I haven't been following it because he's just not one of my people that I idolize ever. Have I idolized this guy? I just stuck with my instincts about what I felt about him years ago. And we're talking about the early 90s. Okay. Never liked him. But I guess he still is to be respected for whatever. Anyway, so the four of hearts, let's see what that is. That's usually a very positive card, but it may be representing the prison. Okay. Structure of a home, structure of a building, maybe the prison. So if I cut this off and just did 5, then guess what? This would have been a decision based on the cards that are laid out here that he will serve some time in prison. So even though they may find him not guilty in sex trafficking, but he may be found guilty in the other charges. So let's just see. Let's see how this plays out here. All right. So four of hearts, four of diamonds. Nope, we want the four of hearts. There's the four of coffin. I'm sorry, four of spade. Okay, here it is. Very first one. All right, so the symbol of the four of hearts is the home. Home is where the heart is, and these are the individuals closest to the heart of the seeker, right? That would be his family. That would be his friends. That would be all those people who are, in connection with him in terms of siding with him, in favor of, expecting some sort of great outcome for him. These are the people with whom we invest our greatest energy and time. That would be his lawyers, definitely his mother, his children. So it says here, husbands, wives, children, pets, close friends, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, cousins, or lovers. These are the individuals we can count on to get us through the days, weeks, years, and decades of life, and those whom the seeker will turn to when times get tough. We turn to them when we need advice, a shoulder to cry on, some chicken soup, or a few dollars to get through the rest of the week. These individuals care deeply for us just as we care deeply for them. Yes, so he has the support of all those people that I had just mentioned surrounding him. Home represents an environment where we can feel safe and secure, and persons who nurture and care for us. So that can still be the prison. And, um, he formed some sort of alliance with his, his inmates, prison guards. That could be also too the Four of Hearts. All right, so let's move on to this Six of Heart karmic relation. I'm sorry, karmic relationship. And again, that's a very positive card here. Let's see what it has to say. All right, so it says here the symbol of the Six of Hearts is the karmic relationship. Karmic relationships are the ones that reshape us to become our higher self. Often this process is painful and unpleasant. A karmic relationship may last for a limited period of time and then end and restart periodically, or maybe a marriage or family relationship that endures consistently throughout a person's entire lifespan. This is what I said. He has people around him. No matter what the outcome may be for him, he is still going to have that group of people in support of him. Okay. And I feel that if they do come to some sort of verdict and is guilty, there will be a because I think at some point they already tried to do a mistrial, but they'll try to go in there and retry the case again, or appeal it. There's some sort of appeal that I'm hearing that may take place. All right, if he is found guilty. All right, so the karmic relationship may last for a limited period of time and then end, restart periodically, or maybe a marriage or family relationship that endures consistently throughout a person's entire life span. Karmic relationships may include husbands, wives, children, lovers, parents, uncles, aunts, cousins, grandparents, military buddies, work associates, bosses, employees, friends, teachers, life, close connections, and pets. The karmic relationship in a reading may represent a soulmate, twin flame, lover, spouse, or someone returning from the past after a long absence, blast from the past. The karmic relationship card represents memories, nostalgia, the good old days, childhood, schmaltz, old friends, past friends, coming to terms with the past, acceptance, and forgiveness. So it may be that the Six of Hearts, the karmic relationship, could be in that, he's, again, having to have a moment or a period of reflection, and then he's remorseful, definitely regretful about the choices or the decisions that he's made throughout his entire life up until this point. That would be the karmic relationship, asking for forgiveness, not only from for himself, but from his family, his friends, the people that he possibly hurt. Definitely feeling some type of way here. Okay, that's the Six of Hearts. All right, so the Queen of Hearts would be a female. So again, I said it mirrors over there to that coffin, so it could be his wife, the mother of his children, coming through. It could also be Cassie, and also could represent all the women in question. Okay, all the women in question. Um, referring to his trial and all the things that he's done to, like I said before, I haven't followed the trial, but I'm quite sure there were several women who have come and really didn't have anything nice to say about his demeanor. So that could be the woman just representing all those women, or those, women that I had just mentioned, Cassie, or his children's mother, the one who sort of died mysteriously. Okay, mysteriously. Anyway, so the Queen of Hearts. All right, that's the last card. Where are you, Queen? Yep, here we go. All right, so the Queen of Hearts here. The symbol of the Queen of Hearts is the woman, represented by the heart suit. The woman card represents a neutral to positive adult female figure acting without any major ulterior motives or acting negatively in the spread. Cassie. It could be his wife that crossed over, or acting negatively in the spread, although other cards may indicate negative actions and forces directed against her. If the seeker is a female, which he is not, quote unquote, he is not, then this card will often represent her in the reading, right? So it's Cassie, his mother, his children's mother. The woman card may also represent a neutral to positive environment or situation. The woman in the reading represents an adult female who is friendly, trustworthy, nurturing, kind, loving, gentle, beloved, girlfriend, friend, fiance, wife, lover, significant other, sister, important female, feminine behavior, a woman with no hidden agenda, having a pure heart and motivations. All right, so there. All right, so we ran through all the definitions of all the cards that have been selected for Sean Diddy Combs for this outcome of this trial here. And even though we have three positive cards at the end of his spread, they may be just separate energies here in terms of his in support of him while he's going through this or have gone through this situation. Definitely he has family, friends, all of those people who are in support of him, his lawyers, his people who followed him and believed him and stuff like that. He definitely has that there. But the situation that I'm about to say regarding this whole entire trial and the possible fate of him, I do feel, and I could be wrong because I'm just giving you my impression, but I'm always going to stick to what I feel empathically, especially when it's coming from my gut and the inner voices. I trust that more than anything. So to sum this all up in terms of this reading for his outcome, he will do time. Okay, these first four cards here are not good at all. So what I was going to say was, if I decided to do five cards, right? Say if I did a line of five cards and this would be his spread. Thank God I reshuffled the cards in front of you guys so that, I didn't want people coming in here thinking, oh, I'm being biased and stuff like that. No, this is an unbiased reading. Even though I don't particularly care for them, I'm leaving my feelings out of it in terms of the reading. So this would have been his situation. I would have said that, yes, his career's come to an end. It's shaken up his world. He feels like he's at a crossroad. There's a split to a spade, meaning there's opposition. The people that may have been, going along with him all along, there's that split. They split away from him because they don't want to be associated with a person who has been found guilty of misdeeds. Okay. And then this four of hearts here will just represent the jail, the prison. I'm sorry, even though it's a loving relationship, it's a building. It would represent prison. Now, but because we decided to do seven cards here, this karmic relationship and this woman, go back to what I said. It could be Cassie. It could be the children of his, the mother of his children. It could be his own mother. Female energy, okay, coming through. Karmic relationship. I feel that he's gone through some or has gone through some sort of regrets, remorse about his past decisions that brought him to this particular point, thinking that he wished he had an opportunity to relive it or redo it all over again. He would definitely do things differently. So I feel he will be found guilty, but he may not be found guilty on all charges. And I also feel that if he is found guilty, there will be an appeal, an immediate appeal. All right, so this is my take on what I feel that could be the outcome for Sean uh, Diddy Combs. And like I said earlier, even if he was, found not guilty, because money talks, bullshit walks, right? There will not be a resurgence of Sean P. Diddy Combs. He's done. No matter how you look at it, he's done. He may, if he's found not guilty, he'll be released from prison and he'll just go through his entire rest of his life quietly, maybe move out of the country. Um, but there is no starting anew, starting fresh, because he's already damaged his image. Okay, so there's no comeback. There's no, even if he got pardoned by Trump, there's still no comeback for him. All right, so this is what I have, and I, wanted to do this. So keep in mind, it's just me interpreting these messages here. It is what it is, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Okay. All right. This is Soul from Intuitive Tarot. Thank you guys for joining me. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You guys have a safe, great day, and I'll talk to you real soon. Take care. Ciao.